So 5 games of Super Rugby on Saturday. Mostly results that were, to one degree or another, expected, and one pretty big upset. So we'll start with the Sunwolves and the Brumbies. Like I said before this game, there was no result that the Brumbies get that makes them look good, and this one doesn't make them look good. So they scrape through with a 7-point win. Expected to win by a lot more, but being first game of the season, it's really hard to know, are the Sunwolves that much improved, or are the Brumbies just still a bit underdone at the moment early on? Yeah, I mean, new coach for both sides, new players, especially on the Sunwolves side, change of season for the Brumbies, going from kind of late summer to late winter up in Japan. Really hard one to read. The winner in this one is probably Super Rugby, just because it's not a blowout. The Sunwolves didn't go and get beaten by 50, 60, 70 points, despite having not really played in the preseason games. So yeah, the Brumbies will be disappointed. Sunwolves will be happy to get the bonus point, but still, in terms of the competition, losing at home to a conference rival, you're not going to be like over the moon about that. So yeah, a good result for the game. The Sunwolves scored a try from a maul, which was impressive when you're battling the Brumbies. So they were doing a few kind of tactical things, which Jamie Joseph is known for. I mean, he's a smart guy, and he's trying to use the tools that he's got to best ability. So they were just playing high tempo, quick through the hands. I've never seen one team kind of go into tackle, release it on the ground, and then pick it up again so you can keep going. I've never seen them do that so many times. I saw it like 5 times at least during that game. So it's obviously a tactic that they're employing. Yeah, Robinson for the Sunwolves, who played at 10, didn't really look convincing. I still think he's better at fullback. Had a few kicks partially charged down, which ended up costing them. And the Sunwolves really gifted the Brumbies one try when they were under pressure and just needed to clear it. I think it was the halfback threw it, and it just hit the post instead of going to the man. And it just sat up for Kurandrani, who ran as he should, running a good line, and just picked up the ball and scored. So kind of a soft one for the Sunwolves to score, to concede. The Brumbies, I wish they'd use their backs a bit more, because they just kept doing like one-off runners, and the Sunwolves were just eating that up. There wasn't really much issue with that. And when the Brumbies did shift it, they looked all right. So he's got the talent there. I think they just need to back themselves a bit, especially in a game like this. The Sunwolves were really slowing that ball down. So I guess that makes it hard sometimes to shift it, but they were able to get the guys they wanted in the right defensive positions to slow the ball down. So I think a bit more variety was probably on call there. But they got the victory they needed. They're not going to be happy with conceding a bonus point to the Sunwolves. They're not going to be happy they didn't get their own bonus point for tries. But at the end of the day, you got the win. It's a win on the road. Just take it. Sunwolves picked up a losing bonus point. Probably not going to matter in the long term of things, but it just makes them look a bit better on the table. And for a new team coming together, it's a decent result. It was better than what they had predicted to be. Key stat for this game was really that both sides missed 22 tackles. So for the Sunwolves, that's kind of good that it wasn't a lopsided number. So it was a exact even number, 22 each. So each team definitely has things to work on. The Sunwolves play the Rebels next, still at home, so that might be a good chance for them. The Rebels just coming off a victory against the Reds, but against 14 men for much of the game, so they might be able to pose a different test, especially with the travel factor for the Rebels. The Brumbies go to Queensland to play the Reds away, so they've got their own travel factor to deal with, and fighting a team which has just kind of been a bit mauled by the Rebels, although be a man down, so they'll have something to prove themselves. So it doesn't get easier for either team. Next game, Crusaders Chiefs, which was picked largely as the game of the round. Ended up being a bit of a blowout at 45-23. The scoreline probably doesn't really reflect how much of the game was close. But I mean, my first point on this one would be that so much for the Crusaders being slow starters. I mean, not only did they start the season with a big win, which they're not like to do, but they started this game with intensity, and scored early on. So it looked for a while like the Chiefs were going to be in a world of trouble. And they ended up being in a world of trouble, but the Chiefs ended up having their own periods. So, yeah, Crusaders had a fast start. If you look at the scoreline for the Chiefs, you'd be thinking your season's not going to go well, but I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Mo'unga scored a try, like in the Battle of the Tens. Damien McKenzie and Richie Mo'unga. Mo'unga scored a try from a pretty poor Damien McKenzie pass, and that was kind of a moment where you're thinking, does Damien have it to run the show at 10? But I think for the most part he looked all right. He played pretty flat and set up some good play when they had all men on the field. Crusaders had 2 yellow cards, so the Chiefs had 20 minutes up a man. They didn't really capitalize on it like they probably needed to. There was another moment later in the game which the Chiefs will look back on and say they're hard done by, but I think really if they were going to win it, there needed to be more done in that 20 minutes. I mean, the Crusaders even scored a try with a man down. So, yeah, Chiefs just gave away too many dumb penalties, just stuff off the ball. It's just kind of silly stuff which sets you back. But they did come back late in the first half and tighten things up. So it was looking all right then. But that moment I was talking about was a penalty try and yellow card for Boshier for a high shot. And then, Crotty's try on the sideline became a penalty try for 7 points. I mean, it's one of those ones that's pretty harsh because the guy's going like for a try, so he's very low off the ground. His only thing that's really exposed is his head. He hit him in the shoulder first, then it kind of rode up. But the law's the way they are. It's just, you can't touch him. So players have got to adapt because the law is the way it is. So the law might be a bit of an ass sometimes in rugby, but yeah, the coaches are going to have to get players to work on their techniques or positioning just to get in the right places to avoid putting yourself in that situation. Like I said, the scoreline kind of blew out at the end as the Chiefs were really just throwing the ball around, a couple of intercepts. So yeah, didn't look good at the end. Crusaders had a pretty dominant scrum, so they probably deserved winners. But a key stat that I said for this one, handling errors, Chiefs 10 to the Crusaders 4. So the Chiefs had their chances, but maybe just a little bit more rust than what the Crusaders were showing. So yeah, hard luck. Crusaders have got the Stormers next week at home, so you'd back them for that one. Chiefs go away to the Blues, so they start on the road 2 games. It's a New Zealand team's not an easy start. Blues looked alright in their game against the Highlanders, so it could be a good game. Third game of the round, so Waratahs beat the Stormers 34-27 with a last-minute try. The Tars needed a win at home to start the season after a pretty poor 2017, and pretty poor at home as well. Like the Kings loss particularly would have hurt the fans. And another road loss for the Stormers, but at least they picked up a bonus point. They'll be disappointed they didn't get at least a draw with the way they kind of threw it away at the end, but a bonus point on the road compared to last season's road trip is definitely nothing to turn your nose up at. The Beale factor, which was talked about a lot before the start of the game, I think he does add something. He does add something to the Waratahs attack. They need something. So he's not perfect, but he definitely gives them a bit more spark. Simmons' yellow card was just dumb. But the Stormers, like the Chiefs, didn't make the Waratahs pay. So when you got that man up, you need to score. And the score during that 10 minutes was 3 apiece. So yeah, the Stormers, if they were going to do something, they needed to do it then. Stormers looked good at scrum time and they had good defence. And they looked good with Maria back at fullback, although that kind of dampened the impact of Dylan Lades. He had kind of a quiet game, but Maria looked very good. Good off the place kicking, good with the ball. Scored a try. But yeah, that throw at the end, so it was all tied up. Stormers had a line out. I mean, it's their fourth choice hooker, but he just threw it, overthrow. Waratahs get the ball, and they go over for a try at the end. And it was Hannigan too, who I've accused of being a bit soft. So he did run over Raymond Rule, who's not the most defensive-minded player. But yeah, still managed to bust over for a try at the end. Waratahs need to work on not conceding points after they score. They're really bad at that, and they were last season as well. They would score and immediately from the kickoff give away a try or a penalty. You can't do that against some teams because they will just punish you all day long. Yeah, key stat for this one, line breaks 8 to the Waratahs, 3 to the Stormers. So you might think that the Waratahs probably should have had it wrapped up a bit earlier. But like I said, the Stormers' D was really good. They scrambled well to hold them out. Tars next travel to South Africa to play the Sharks, who are coming off a bye. And the Stormers go away to the Crusaders, which will be pretty hard for both teams, you would imagine. Next game, Lions against the Jaguares. So again, it's one that kind of blew out a bit, so 20-point margin. I didn't get to see this one, but I've had a look through some of the highlights and some of the key stats and what was written about it. So yeah, the Lions got the big win they were expected to get. I don't think anyone's really surprised that they beat the Jaguares by 20 points. For the Jaguares, they really just need to put the South African trip behind them and kind of knuckle back down for their games in Argentina. So, I mean, it did take the Lions a little while to get in the game. Last week they looked a bit off their game, a bit rusty, and they did go down 10-0 at the start of this game to a try and a penalty from the Jaguares. But then cometh the hour, cometh this man Deante. Yeah, he looks magic. So scored a big try, and then that kind of got the Lions going from there. The Jaguares get a yellow card, another yellow card, and then the Lions from there just really stepped it up a gear and just piled some points on, and it became pretty ugly reading. The Jaguares did make a little comeback at the end with a couple of tries to Delgay. One of them was just the Lions just, I guess, overconfidence and just playing the ball kind of out from their own goal area. Ended up turning the ball over and Delgay motored him for a try. Jaguares did have a second yellow card in the second half, so yeah, not a good look in terms of the discipline. So yeah, Lions are definitely back in business after a kind of middling result last week. They're back to fine form. Jaguares, yeah, like I say, hard trip. They need to get back to South America and kind of start over. Because they've not picked up anything from this and they are propping up the table. There were a few key stats in this and it doesn't make pretty reading if you're a Jaguares fan. Run meters to the Lions, 999. Jaguares, 366. Line breaks, 14-3. Offloads, 17-3. Tackles, 81 for the Lions, 140 for the Jaguares. So that kind of tells you the story of where the Jaguares were at. And reading that, you think that the Lions might have even won by more. So, yeah, not surprising that the Lions are top of the table with a performance like that. Now, the last game had our big upset. So I said in my preview that I needed the Sunwolves and the Bulls to step up to make sure that there weren't any real lopsided results because they were the two predicted to get big scores put on them. Well, the Sunwolves held their own and the Bulls got a win, which nobody was picking. Nobody gave them a chance against the Hurricanes. So it is a massive result for them. Hopefully that gives the fans something to cheer about because they've had attendance issues over the last year or so. Really poor start for the Canes. But, I mean, the year they won it, they had a big score put on them by the Brumbies away. So it's not the end of the world to start on the road with a loss, but obviously it's not ideal. Early try for the Bulls. Then they had a yellow card which is not ideal. But during that yellow card, the Bulls scored one of the most amazing tries I've ever seen. So again, I didn't get to see this one live. I only saw the highlights. But the two locks, Snyman got what was an amazing like slow motion line break. He was just lumbering along, bust through some guys, and he was just moving in an incredible. It just seemed unreal. And then he passed it to Diaka, who went in and scored. The two locks. It was from pretty far out. So yeah, that was an amazing try. Probably my try of the round from all the ones I saw. I know there was some good tries, like Folau scored a beauty for the Waratahs, but yeah, that was just incredible. Seems like the Canes scrum got penalised a fair bit, which is something we're kind of used to from watching the Hurricanes. Hurricanes fans will be asking questions about Ihaya West. I've seen a lot of fans already pointing the finger at him, which is not entirely fair because it's a team game, but yeah, it doesn't help that Bodie scored. I know West was still on the field when Bodie scored his try, but it doesn't help that Bowden scored and West did not. Bulls didn't kick any of the conversions, which is disappointing. I know some of the tries were on the sideline, but still, you'd think if the Bulls are going to have a good season, they're going to want to be taking as many points as they can get. So kicking is usually one of their things, like from the Mornay Stain days, but I guess we'll see how that goes. So yeah, this will hopefully put a bit more faith in the John Mitchell movement, that he's really turning the Bulls around. And for the Hurricanes, yeah, it's just another slow start, and they need to step up. I have read a fair bit of negative comments, press about the ref. Apparently he missed a fair bit of stuff and was not very good at the scrum time. So yeah, that wasn't just from upset fans either. That was just some stuff in the press. So yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see the whole game. So yeah. Anyway, good result for the Bulls. Some key stats again, really in favour of the Bulls. So you see the runs 96 to 62, run meters 651 to 421. So the Bulls doing some good stuff. 4 line breaks to the Hurricanes 8. Hurricanes missed 25 tackles to 16 from the Bulls. So yeah, it just seems like the Bulls had a pretty good all-round performance. Another late try to win it. Not quite as late as what the Waratahs left it, but yeah. Bulls next go to play the Lions at home. So another tough game. But hey, based off this, there's no reason they couldn't push them. But based off that, it might be hard. Jaguares have got the Hurricanes back in Argentina, so no real advantage on the travel because they'll both be traveling over from South Africa. So yeah, it could be an interesting week next week. See how they go. Who do you reckon was the performance of the round? I mean, you'd probably have to say the Bulls, just in terms of getting the upset. No one's season you'd really say is over yet. There's no team that you're looking at and go, they just look pathetic. But then again, everyone's still got stuff to work on. Pretty ominous signs from the two finalists last year with two pretty similar results at home. So yeah, a lot for other fans to be kind of nervous about if you're going to play them. Anyway, let me guys know what you thought of the round. If anything happened in these two games that was really outstanding, because like I said, I didn't see all of them. But yeah, let me know what you reckon, and we'll have a look at some power rankings at some point soonish. Alright guys, catch you next time.